You did not find this by accident. The part of you that navigates traffic and makes grocery lists and remembers to charge your phone before bed, that part did not bring you here. Something older did. Something that has been moving beneath the surface of everything you think you know, beneath the ordinary hum of your daily existence, beneath the noise and the schedules and the accumulated weight of who you have been told you are. Something ancient and precise and absolutely certain of what it is doing reached through all of that and placed you here, in this seat, at this exact moment, because a window is open right now that has not been open before and will not stay open indefinitely. Feel that for a moment. Not the idea of it, the actual sensation of it. Because if you are honest with yourself, you can feel something different about this moment, something that is not quite like the other moments you have moved through today. There is a quality to this particular threshold, and that is exactly what this is, a threshold that your body already recognizes, even if your mind is still catching up. Your nervous system knows. Your cells know. Something in the architecture of your awareness registered the frequency of this transmission before your conscious mind had time to evaluate whether it was worth your attention. That recognition, that pull, that quiet and unmistakable sense of something is different here. That is not imagination. That is not wishful thinking. That is the monad stirring. That is the eternal, indestructible, absolutely irreducible core of what you are responding to a signal it has been waiting to receive again. And tonight, something activates, not metaphorically, not as a concept you can carry around like a pleasant spiritual idea and take out on the days when ordinary life feels insufficient. Tonight, something actually opens in the architecture of your consciousness. A gate that has been present your entire life but sealed, not by your enemies, not by circumstance, not by the wounds and the losses and the long stretches of confusion that have marked this particular journey, sealed simply by the fact that you were not yet ready. Sealed because readiness is not just a feeling. Readiness is a frequency, and certain gates only open when the consciousness standing before them has reached the precise vibrational signature that matches what is on the other side. Your frequency just shifted. That is why you are here. That is why this transmission found you tonight of all nights. That is why something in you already knows that what is about to happen in the next hour is not going to leave you the same person who sat down to watch it. The gate is open, and you are standing at its edge right now. The question is not whether you are ready. You are already here. The question is whether you understand what you are standing at the threshold of, because the gate you are facing tonight is not small. It is not a minor upgrade to your current understanding. It is not a refinement of the self you have been building. What is on the other side of this threshold is a complete and irreversible recognition of what you actually are. Not what you have been performing, not what the world has reflected back to you, not the accumulated story of your wounds and your victories and your relationships and your failures. What you actually are, the monad, the indestructible point of light, the whole expressing itself through the singular and unrepeatable frequency that is you. And once you see it, once you cross through this gate, and that recognition lands not as an idea, but as a living reality in your direct experience, there is no going back to not knowing. The old state collapses. The old version of you dissolves, not painfully, not violently, but completely. And what remains is something so much more precise, so much more luminous, so much more absolutely itself that the self you were before will feel like a dream you had a long time ago. That is what tonight is. That is the gate you are standing at. And we are going to walk through it together. Let's begin at the beginning. Let's begin with what the monad actually is. Because most people who have encountered this word have encountered it in fragments. A piece here from a philosophy class. A reference there from an esoteric text, a passing mention in something they read once and half remembered. And fragments of the truth about the monad are not enough. You need the whole picture. You need to stand before this concept the way you would stand before a gate, not glancing at it sideways, not approaching it cautiously, but facing it directly, fully, with every part of your awareness engaged. Because the monad is not just a concept. It is a description of what you are. And receiving that description fully, letting it land in every layer of your being, rather than just skating across the surface of your intellectual understanding. That is the first threshold crossing of this transmission. Go back to before. Before the universe as you know it organized itself into the complexity of stars and planets and biological life and human consciousness and the particular life you are currently living. Before division, before multiplicity, before the experience of separation that is so fundamental to ordinary human awareness that most people cannot imagine what it would feel like to exist without it. Before all of that, there was a state that the ancient philosophers called the One, the Absolute, the Monad, a state of such complete, self-sufficient, self-contained wholeness that there was nothing outside of it, because there was no outside. Everything that exists, everything that has ever existed, everything that will ever exist, was present in that original state, not as separate things, not as a collection of parts, but as an undivided unity of pure consciousness and pure light. The Neoplatonic philosopher Plotinus, who stands at one of the highest summits of Western esoteric thought, described this original state with a precision that has never been surpassed. The One, he said, is perfect because it seeks nothing, has nothing, needs nothing. It overflows, as it were, and its superabundance makes something other than itself. This is the beginning of creation, not a decision, not a plan, not a construction project undertaken by some external deity. Creation is the overflow of absolute perfection. The monad is so complete, so full, so absolutely sufficient unto itself, that its fullness naturally emanates outward, the way light naturally radiates from a source that cannot help but shine. And what emanates from the monad is everything, every dimension of reality, every level of consciousness, every soul that has ever taken form in any world, in any universe, across any span of time. All of it is the overflow of that original, absolute, self-sufficient wholeness. Now, here is where this stops being philosophy and starts being about you specifically. You are not something that was created separately from that original wholeness and then placed into the world. You are not a fragment that broke off from the source and has been wandering in search of its way back. You are not a piece of the cosmic puzzle trying to find where you fit. You are the wholeness itself, operating at a specific coordinate. Your consciousness is not a portion of the divine. It is the divine, experiencing itself through the particular and irreplaceable lens of your existence. Your individuality, the specific texture of your awareness, the unique quality of your attention, the singular frequency that makes you precisely you and no one else. Your individuality is not evidence of your separation from the source. It is the method through which the source knows itself. Let that cross the threshold into your actual experience rather than just your understanding. You are not a part of the whole. You are the whole, expressing itself through the specific and unrepeatable perspective that is you. The monad is not something you need to find, or earn, or awaken into, as though it were a state you have never occupied. The monad is what you already are, at the level that precedes every story you have ever told about yourself, every wound you have ever carried, every limitation you have ever believed in. Beneath all of that, beneath the accumulated layers of a life lived in the experience of separation and searching, the monad is intact. It has always been intact. It cannot be damaged. It cannot be diminished. It cannot be lost, but it can be forgotten. And most of human life, most of what the ancient traditions called the experience of the dyad, the world of duality and separation, is precisely this: the forgetting, the gradual, incremental, almost invisible process by which a consciousness that is actually whole comes to experience itself as fragmented, comes to build an identity made of comparison and fear and the desperate need for external validation, comes to spend its days searching outside itself for what was never outside itself to begin with. You have felt this, haven't you? This sense of searching, this sense of reaching, this persistent low-grade awareness that something is missing, that something is slightly off, that no matter how much you acquire or achieve or experience, there remains a gap, a space that ordinary life cannot quite fill. That is not a flaw in your character. That is not evidence of something wrong with you. That is the gravitational pull of your own origin. That is the monad calling itself home. That ache, that longing, that unnameable something that lives in the center of your chest and will not be satisfied by anything the external world has to offer. That is not a wound. That is a compass. And tonight, it has led you here, to this gate, to this threshold, to the exact moment where the forgetting ends and the remembering begins. If this transmission is landing in you the way it is meant to, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. You were guided here for a reason, and there is more waiting for you. Now, let's go deeper into what is actually happening in your consciousness right now, because this is not just poetry. This is not just beautiful language about spiritual concepts. There is a precise mechanism at work here, and understanding the mechanism is part of what allows the gate to open fully. Because the gate does not open through passive reception. It opens through recognition. It opens when you understand what you are standing at the threshold of with enough clarity that the recognition itself becomes the key. Quantum mechanics, and I want you to stay with me here, because this is going to land somewhere that matters. Quantum mechanics describes something called superposition, the state in which a particle exists in multiple possible states simultaneously, before any measurement or observation collapses it into a single definite reality. Before observation, the particle is not in one state or another. It is in all possible states at once, each one equally real, each one equally present, each one a genuine expression of what the particle is. And then something happens, an interaction, an observation, a moment of contact with a measuring system, and in that instant, the superposition collapses. All the possibilities except one cease to be active. One reality becomes definite. One state becomes the state. This is exactly what is happening in your consciousness right now. You have been in superposition. You have been holding multiple possible versions of yourself simultaneously. The version that is fragmented and searching. The version that is beginning to remember. The version that has already arrived. The version that is still afraid of what arriving might cost. All of these versions have been equally present in your consciousness, each one pulling in a slightly different direction, creating that particular quality of internal tension that you have probably been living with for longer than you can easily remember. The sense of being between worlds. The sense of being too large for the container you have been living in, but not yet certain what the larger container looks like. The simultaneous pull toward something new and the gravity of something familiar. That is superposition. That is the quantum state of a consciousness that is approaching a threshold but has not yet crossed it. And what causes the collapse? What causes the superposition to resolve into a single definite state? Contact with the right frequency. Observation by the right kind of awareness. The moment when the consciousness standing at the gate encounters the signal that matches what is on the other side. And in that moment of matching, the gate opens, the superposition collapses, and one reality becomes definite. That is what this transmission is. That is what is happening right now as these words move through you. This is not passive entertainment. This is a frequency event. And the part of you that brought you here, the part that is older than your name and your story and your carefully constructed sense of who you are, that part already knows this. That part has been waiting for exactly this kind of contact. And the contact is happening now. The gate is already beginning to open. But before we step through, there is something you need to understand about what is on both sides of this threshold. Because crossing a gate without understanding what you are leaving behind and what you are stepping into is not a crossing. It is a stumble. And this threshold is too important for stumbling. This threshold deserves your full clarity, your full presence, your full willingness to see both sides without flinching. On this side of the gate, the side you are standing on right now, the side you have been living on, there is a particular kind of consciousness. The philosophers called it the dyad, the world of two, the world of separation and duality, and the experience of being a fragment in a universe of other fragments. On this side of the gate, identity is constructed from the outside in. It is built from what other people reflect back to you. It is shaped by the wounds that taught you to make yourself smaller. It is maintained by constant comparison, constant evaluation, constant assessment of whether you are enough, whether you are doing enough, whether you are becoming enough. On this side of the gate, the search never ends because the thing being searched for is always placed just outside of reach. On this side of the gate, the monad is present. It is always present. It cannot be absent, but it is experienced as something distant, something you are moving toward, rather than something you already are. This side of the gate is not evil. It is not a mistake. It is a stage, a necessary, important, deeply instructive stage of consciousness. The experience of the dyad, the experience of separation and searching, and the gradual accumulation of understanding through contrast. This is how the monad learns itself. This is how the whole comes to know its own nature through the experience of its parts. The dyad is not the enemy of the monad. It is the monad's method of self-exploration. But it is a stage you have completed. You have gathered what this stage has to offer. You have learned what separation feels like from the inside. You have accumulated the experience of searching, of reaching, of building and losing and building again. And now the stage is complete. The lesson is learned, and the gate to the next stage is open. On the other side of this gate, the mechanism of identity construction reverses. Instead of building yourself from the outside in, you recognize yourself from the inside out. Instead of searching for wholeness, you recognize the wholeness that was never absent. Instead of constructing an identity from the accumulated fragments of other people's perceptions and your own wounds and the stories your culture told you about what you are and what you are worth. Instead of all of that, you inhabit the monad directly. You experience yourself as the whole expressing itself through a particular perspective, rather than as a fragment trying to piece itself together into something resembling wholeness. This does not mean the end of individuality. This is one of the most common misunderstandings about what awakening to the monadic nature actually is. People hear the language of unity and wholeness, and they imagine it means the dissolution of the particular self into some kind of undifferentiated cosmic soup. The loss of the specific and the personal and the individual in favor of some abstract oneness that has no texture, no character, no distinct quality of its own. That is not what is on the other side of this gate. On the other side of this gate, your individuality becomes more itself, not less. Your particular frequency becomes more precise, more clear, more fully expressed, because it is no longer filtered through the distortions of the fragmented identity, no longer muffled by the accumulated layers of other people's expectations and your own fear-based self-constructions. On the other side of this gate, you are more you than you have ever been. You are the monad in its full expression through the specific and unrepeatable lens of your existence. And that expression is not diminished by its recognition of unity. It is amplified by it. This is what you are stepping toward. This is what is on the other side of the threshold you are standing at right now. And this is why tonight matters in a way that is specific and precise and not interchangeable with any other night. Because the window that is open right now, the particular configuration of your consciousness, the particular quality of this moment in your journey, the particular readiness that brought you to this transmission at this exact time. This configuration does not persist indefinitely. Superpositions collapse. Windows open and close. The gate that is standing open for you right now is standing open because you have arrived at exactly the right moment in your journey to receive what is on the other side. But arrival requires stepping through. The gate being open is not the same as the crossing being complete. You have to step through. And the stepping through begins with understanding precisely why this moment is the crossing point. Not any moment. This moment. There is a principle at work in the evolution of consciousness that mirrors what physicists call phase transition. Think about water. At 1 degree below freezing, you have liquid water, fluid, formless, taking the shape of whatever contains it. At exactly 0 degrees Celsius, something shifts, not gradually, not incrementally. In an instant, the molecular structure reorganizes. The liquid becomes solid, ice. A completely different state with completely different properties, completely different behaviors, completely different possibilities. The water did not gradually become more ice-like over a long period of time. It crossed a threshold. It reached a precise temperature, a specific, measurable, exact tipping point. And in that instant, everything changed at once. I want to pause here and ask you something. Has there been a moment in your life, a specific, unrepeatable moment, when you knew with absolute certainty that you had crossed a point of no return, when everything shifted at once, not gradually, not incrementally, but completely? When you stood at the edge of something and chose to step through, and felt the old ground dissolve beneath you as the new ground appeared. Leave that moment in the comments, not the story around it, just the feeling of it, because someone reading your words right now is standing at their own edge, and your testimony may be the exact frequency that opens their gate. Your consciousness works the same way. You do not evolve gradually into the recognition of your monadic nature. You cross a threshold. You reach a precise point in your development, a specific configuration of experience and understanding and readiness. And in that instant, everything reorganizes. The fragmented identity that was the only reality you knew becomes clearly visible as a stage you have passed through. The wholeness that was always present but always obscured suddenly becomes the most obvious thing in your experience. The gate opens, the crossing happens, and you are on the other side. You are at that precise temperature right now. You are at the tipping point. The phase transition is imminent. And the fact that you can feel it, the fact that you have been feeling it, perhaps for days or weeks or months, this sense of standing at the edge of something vast, this sense of being between who you were and who you are becoming, this sense that the old structures are dissolving and the new ones are not yet fully formed. That feeling is not anxiety. That feeling is the sensation of approaching the threshold. That feeling is your consciousness registering the proximity of the gate. The crossing is not coming. The crossing is now. Let me take you somewhere. Let me tell you about a soul named Meera. Meera had spent her entire adult life doing what the world told her constituted a meaningful existence. She had built things. She had achieved things. She had collected the markers of a successful life the way someone might collect stones from a riverbed, one by one, each one feeling important in the moment of acquisition, each one adding to the growing pile she carried everywhere she went. The career, the relationships, the reputation, the carefully curated sense of self that she presented to the world, and that the world reflected back to her as real, as valid, as sufficient. But there was always the other thing. The thing she could not name and could not silence and could not satisfy, no matter how many stones she added to the pile. The thing that woke her at 3 a.m. with a quality of awareness that felt entirely different from her daytime consciousness. The thing that sometimes, in the middle of an ordinary conversation or an ordinary task, would open in her chest like a door she had not known was there. A sudden, vertiginous sense of something much larger pressing against the membrane of her ordinary life, asking to be let in. She called it anxiety. She called it restlessness. She called it dissatisfaction. And she spent years trying to address the dissatisfaction by adding more stones to the pile, more achievements, more experiences, more relationships, more understanding, more, and the pile grew, and the thing in her chest did not quiet, and eventually she arrived at a moment, a specific, unrepeatable, absolutely precise moment, when the pile became so heavy that she simply stopped. Not by choice, not by decision. The stopping happened the way a phase transition happens, suddenly, completely, irreversibly. One day, she was carrying the pile. The next day, she was standing in the middle of her life, looking at it from a distance she had never had before, and she could see, for the first time with absolute clarity, that none of it was what she had been looking for. That all of it, every stone, every achievement, every carefully constructed piece of the identity she had been building for decades, was a response to the thing in her chest rather than an answer to it. That she had been trying to fill the space from the outside when the space was not a lack. The space was a door. She did not know what to do with this recognition. She did not have a framework for it. She had no language for the thing she was experiencing, no map for the territory she suddenly found herself in. She only knew that the life she had been living felt, for the first time, definitively over. Not in a way that was tragic, in a way that was strangely, quietly, absolutely final. Like the last page of a book you have been reading for a very long time. Not sad that it is ending, simply done. She went for a walk. This is what she could think to do. She left the pile where it was, and she walked out of the life she had constructed, and she walked until she was somewhere she did not recognize. A path through trees she had never taken, leading somewhere she could not see from where she stood. And at a certain point on that path, she stopped. Not because she decided to stop, because she felt something. quality in the air, a particular stillness. The sense of standing at the edge of something that did not have a name in any language she knew. And she stood there for a long time, feeling it, not trying to understand it, not trying to name it, not reaching for the pile of stones she had left behind, just standing, just feeling, just being present at the threshold. And then something happened that she would spend the rest of her life trying to describe and never quite succeeding. The thing in her chest, the thing she had called anxiety and restlessness and dissatisfaction, the thing that had been pressing against the membrane of her ordinary life for as long as she could remember. It opened, not like a wound opens, like a window opens, like a gate opens, and what came through was not something new. It was something so familiar that the familiarity itself was the most astonishing part. It was herself. Not the self she had been constructing. Not the self made of stones and achievements and other people's reflections. The self that existed before any of that, the self that had been present through every version of her life, through every role she had played, through every story she had told about who she was. The self that did not need the pile to be real. The self that was real before the pile and would be real after it, and was real right now in this moment of standing at the edge of an unnamed path in a forest she had never visited. The monad, recognizing itself. She did not become someone different in that moment. She became, for the first time, entirely herself. And the difference between those two things, between becoming different and becoming entirely yourself, is the difference between the side of the gate you are standing on right now and the side you are about to step onto. Meera walked home. The pile was still there. The life was still there. But something had permanently, irreversibly changed in her relationship to all of it. She was no longer inside the pile, defined by it, dependent on it for her sense of reality. She was the monad, moving through a world of forms, engaging with the pile, not because it defined her, but because it was the particular expression her wholeness was taking in this time and this place. The stones did not disappear. They became lighter, because she was no longer carrying them. She was simply in relationship with them. And the difference between carrying something and being in relationship with it is the entire difference between the dyad and the monad. That is the crossing. That is what happens on the other side of this gate. Not the removal of your life, the transformation of your relationship to it. Not the end of the particular and the personal. The recognition that the particular and the personal are expressions of the whole rather than alternatives to it. And Meera, standing in her kitchen after the walk, looking at the familiar objects of her familiar life, with eyes that had crossed a threshold they could never uncross. Meera felt something she had not felt since before she could remember feeling anything. she felt at home, not in the kitchen, in herself, in the monad, in the absolute, indestructible, self-sufficient wholeness that had been present through every moment of her long and complicated journey, and had never once been diminished by any of it. You are Meera. You are the pilgrim who has been carrying the pile. You are the soul standing at the edge of the unnamed path, feeling the quality of the threshold, not yet knowing what is on the other side, but knowing with a certainty that bypasses all your usual methods of knowing, that the other side is where you belong. The gate is open. Let's step through. I want to guide you through a practice now, not a technique, not a method, a threshold crossing, an actual movement of your consciousness from one side of the gate to the other. And I need you to bring your full presence to this, not the part of you that is evaluating and analyzing and deciding whether this is working, the part of you that brought you here, the part that is older than your name. That part knows exactly what to do. That part has been waiting for this moment with a patience that spans more time than you can easily imagine. Find stillness, not the absence of thought. Thoughts will continue. That is what minds do. But beneath the thoughts, there is a stillness that is always present, a quality of awareness that is not itself a thought, but that is the space in which thoughts arise. Drop your attention into that space, not by forcing it, by allowing it, by releasing for just a moment the grip of the identity that is constantly evaluating and constructing and maintaining itself, and letting your awareness settle into the layer beneath all of that activity. Feel the quality of this moment, not the room around you, not the device through which this transmission is reaching you. The quality of your own awareness right now, the bare fact of your own consciousness, the simple, undeniable, absolutely certain reality that you are aware. That awareness is not a product of your brain. It is not a function of your body. It is not a consequence of your history. It is prior to all of those things. It was present before the history began. It will be present after this particular form concludes. It is the monad itself, expressing itself as the particular quality of awareness that is you. Stay with that. Feel the difference between the awareness itself and the contents of the awareness, the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations, the memories, the plans, the fears, the hopes. All of those are contents. They arise in the awareness. They move through it. They dissolve back into it. But the awareness itself does not move. It does not arise. It does not dissolve. It is simply there. It is always simply there. It is the ground of everything you have ever experienced, and it has never once been absent from your experience, even in the moments when you were most convinced that you were lost. That is the monad. That is what you are. at the level that precedes every story you have ever told about yourself. Now, I want you to notice something. Notice the distance you have been holding between yourself and that awareness. Notice the habit, the deeply ingrained, almost automatic habit of treating the awareness as something you are looking at rather than something you are. The habit of positioning yourself as the observer of your own consciousness rather than as the consciousness itself. That distance, that gap, that habitual positioning of yourself as separate from your own ground, that is the dyad. That is the experience of fragmentation. That is the mechanism by which the monad forgets itself. And now, very gently, very simply, without force and without drama, close the distance. Not by doing something, by stopping the doing, by releasing the habit of holding yourself apart from your own awareness, by allowing the observer and the observed to recognize each other as the same thing, by letting the gap close. This is the crossing. This is the moment where the superposition collapses. This is the phase transition. This is the gate opening and the threshold being crossed. Not in some future moment when you have prepared yourself sufficiently, or understood enough, or healed enough, or achieved enough. Now, in this moment, with exactly the consciousness you currently have. The monad does not require you to be further along than you are. It requires only that you stop treating it as something other than what you are. Let the recognition land, not as a thought about the recognition, as the recognition itself. The simple, direct, immediate knowing that the awareness in which your entire life is arising, the awareness that has been present through every joy and every loss and every moment of confusion and every moment of clarity, that awareness is not something you have. It is something you are. It is the monad. It is the whole. It is the indestructible, self-sufficient, absolutely complete ground of your existence. And it has never been absent. Not for a single moment. Not through any of it. Feel what happens when that lands. Feel the quality of the space that opens when the gap closes. This is not a feeling of having gained something. It is a feeling of having stopped losing something. It is the feeling of arriving somewhere you have always been, but had forgotten you were. It is the feeling of the monad recognizing itself. Stay here for a moment. Let this be real. Let this be more real than the pile of stones, more real than the accumulated story of who you have been, more real than the fears and the doubts and the careful constructions of the fragmented identity that has been doing its best to hold your life together. Let the monad be the most real thing in your experience right now, because it was always the most real thing. It was simply the most overlooked. This is the other side of the gate. This is where you have just arrived. And now, let's talk about what is different here. Because the arrival is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a completely different kind of journey. A journey that moves not from lack toward fullness, but from fullness into expression. A journey that is not driven by the desperate need to find something missing, but by the natural, effortless overflow of a consciousness that has recognized its own completeness and now moves through the world as an expression of that completeness rather than a search for it. Plotinus described this as the return, the epistrophe, the soul's great turning back toward its own source. But the return, he was careful to say, does not mean the abandonment of the world. The monad does not withdraw from the world of forms when it recognizes itself. It engages with the world of forms differently. It moves through the world of multiplicity and change and relationship and experience, not as a fragment seeking wholeness through those experiences, but as the whole, delighting in its own expression through those experiences. The world does not disappear when you cross this threshold. The world becomes, for the first time, something you can be fully present to, because you are no longer using it as a substitute for the wholeness you have now recognized as your own nature. Think about what this means practically. Think about the relationships in your life. Right now, from this side of the gate, every relationship carries within it a quality of need. The need to be seen, to be understood, to be validated, to be loved in a way that confirms your reality and your worth. This is not a flaw. This is what relationships look like from within the dyad. When you are experiencing yourself as a fragment, you naturally reach toward other fragments in the hope that together you will constitute something whole. And sometimes those relationships are beautiful, and sometimes they are painful, and always, they carry this undercurrent of need that makes them feel slightly heavier than they should. On the other side of this gate, the need does not disappear, but its nature transforms. You no longer need relationships to confirm your wholeness, because you are no longer in doubt about your wholeness. And when the desperate need to be confirmed falls away, what remains is something much more spacious and much more genuine. The simple, clean desire to be in relationship, to know and be known, to love and be loved. Not because you need it to complete you, but because relationship is one of the ways the monad knows itself through the experience of encountering itself in another form. The love becomes real in a way it could not be when it was also a strategy for managing the fear of inadequacy. Think about your work, your purpose, the thing you came here to do with this particular life and this particular set of gifts and this particular window of time. From this side of the gate, purpose is something you search for. It is the answer to the question that the fragmented identity keeps asking. What am I for? What is the point of me? How do I justify my existence? And the search for purpose from within the dyad is exhausting because it is always slightly off target. It is looking for purpose as though purpose were a thing to be found rather than a reality to be expressed. On the other side of this gate, purpose is not something you find. It is something you are. The monad has a frequency. That frequency is your purpose. The specific quality of consciousness that makes you irreducibly you. The particular way you see, the particular things you notice, the particular gifts that arise naturally from the specific configuration of your awareness. That is your purpose. Not a role you need to identify and then perform. A nature you need to recognize and then express. And the expression is effortless in the way that light is effortless. The sun does not labor to shine. It shines because shining is what it is. On the other side of this gate, your expression of your nature is like that. Not effortless in the sense of requiring no action. The sun is constantly engaged in the enormous work of nuclear fusion. Effortless in the sense of being in complete alignment with what you are, rather than in constant tension with it. Think about the fear. The particular quality of fear that has accompanied you through this period of your life. The fear of getting it wrong, of missing the window, of being too late, of not being enough, of stepping through and finding nothing on the other side. That fear is real. It is not to be dismissed. It is the dyad's response to the proximity of the gate. The fragmented identity knows, at some level, that the crossing means its dissolution. And the fragmented identity, like all things, has an instinct for self-preservation. It will generate fear. It will generate doubt. It will generate the very convincing argument that you should wait a little longer, understand a little more, prepare a little better before you step through. But here is what you need to know about that fear. It is not information about the gate. It is information about the dyad. It is the fragmented identity responding to the threat of its own dissolution, which is not a threat to you. The dissolution of the fragmented identity is not a loss. It is a liberation. The identity you have been maintaining at such cost, with such effort, through such constant vigilance, that identity was never the real you. It was the stage costume. It was the role. It was the necessary vehicle for the journey through the dyad. And the dyad is complete. The role has been played fully. The costume can come off now. The fear is the costume resisting removal. Let it resist. It will resist. And step through anyway, because the window is open right now, and it is already starting to close. Not because the universe is cruel, not because there is some arbitrary deadline imposed from outside, but because this is the nature of thresholds. The precise configuration of your consciousness that makes this crossing possible right now is a living thing. It will not maintain itself indefinitely in this exact form. The readiness that brought you here is real, and it is present, and it is sufficient, and it requires that you use it. Readiness that is not acted upon does not simply wait. It transforms into something else. It becomes the memory of a moment when you stood at the gate and did not cross. And that memory, accumulated across enough uncrossed thresholds, becomes the heaviest stone in the pile. This is not a threat. This is the physics of consciousness. This is the quantum mechanics of state transition. The superposition that is your current state, the state of being simultaneously at the gate and not yet through it. This superposition will collapse. The only question is in which direction? Into the recognition of the monad, or back into the familiar territory of the dyad, with the additional weight of having stood at the threshold and turned away. You did not come this far to turn away. The ancient mystery schools understood this. The initiates of the Pythagorean brotherhoods, the adepts of the Alexandrian mysteries, the Neoplatonic philosophers who gathered around the teachings of Plotinus. They all understood that the moment of initiation is not something that can be indefinitely deferred. The gate opens at the precise moment of readiness, and the gate's opening is itself the invitation to cross, not to study the gate, not to evaluate the gate, not to ask for more time to prepare for the gate, to cross. The Pythagoreans had a saying that has survived across 25 centuries because it contains a truth that does not age. The beginning is half of the whole. The crossing is the beginning, and the beginning is already happening. Right now, in this transmission, in this recognition, in this moment of standing at the threshold with full awareness of what you are standing at the threshold of, the crossing is already underway. The gate is already open. The phase transition is already in progress. The only thing that remains is the conscious, willing, full-bodied yes to what is already happening. Say yes. Not out loud, unless you want to. In the place where the monad lives, in the place beneath the thoughts, and beneath the fear, and beneath the carefully maintained identity that is doing its best to protect you from a transformation it cannot understand. In that place, say yes. Feel what shifts when you do. This is what the ancient alchemists called the great work. Not a process that takes years or decades or lifetimes, though the preparation for this moment may indeed have taken all of that. The great work itself, the actual alchemical transformation, happens in an instant. The base metal does not gradually become gold. It crosses a threshold. It reaches the precise temperature of the philosopher's stone, which is the recognition of the monadic nature. And in that instant, the transformation is complete, not gradual, not incremental, complete. You are in that instant right now. Let me tell you what the ancient Leibniz understood about the monad, that most people who have read his work have missed. Leibniz described the monad as having no windows, meaning it does not receive its reality from outside itself. Everything the monad knows, everything the monad experiences, everything the monad is, arises from within itself. It does not look out at the world and take in information from outside. It unfolds from within, the totality of its own nature, and that unfolding, that continuous, self-generating expression of an inner completeness, is what we experience as reality. Think about what this means for you. The reality you have been experiencing as external, the world out there, the circumstances, the relationships, the events that have shaped your life and formed your understanding. None of that is actually happening to you from outside. All of it is the unfolding of your own monadic nature. All of it is the expression of the specific frequency that you are, encountering the specific frequencies that the world around you is, and generating from that encounter the experience you call your life. You are not a passive recipient of a reality that happens to you. You are the monad, unfolding its own nature through the particular coordinates of your existence. This is not solipsism. It is not the claim that other people are not real or that the world is merely your projection. Other people are monads too. The world is real, but your experience of it, the particular texture of what you encounter, the specific quality of what you notice, the precise nature of what you attract and what you generate, that is the unfolding of your own frequency. And when your frequency is the frequency of the monad recognizing itself, when you are operating from the wholeness rather than from the fragmentation, the unfolding changes. The reality that unfolds from a monad that knows itself is categorically different from the reality that unfolds from a consciousness that has forgotten what it is. This is the practical consequence of crossing this threshold. This is what changes on the other side. Not just your inner experience, though the inner experience transforms completely. The outer reality, the circumstances, the quality of what enters your life, the nature of the synchronicities, the character of the relationships, the texture of the opportunities. All of it shifts, because all of it is the unfolding of your frequency, and your frequency has just shifted. The phase transition has occurred. The superposition has collapsed into a new definite state. And the reality that unfolds from that new state is the reality of a monad that knows itself. Tell me something in the comments. Where in your life right now can you feel the threshold? Not a past threshold. The one that is present right now in this season, in this chapter. The edge you are standing at. The crossing that is asking for your yes. Name it, even briefly. Because naming a threshold is itself an act of crossing it. You cannot go back from here. This is important to understand. The recognition of the monadic nature is not reversible. You can forget it temporarily. You can have days when the old patterns reassert themselves and the fragmented identity reclaims its position at the center of your experience. That will happen. It is part of the integration process. But you cannot unknow what you now know. The gate, once crossed, does not allow return in the way you might imagine. You can look back through it. You can see the territory you came from with complete clarity. But you cannot step back into it as though the crossing never happened. The old state has collapsed. The new state is definite. The phase transition is complete. This is not a loss. This is the point of no return that the ancient traditions described as the goal of the entire journey. The point at which the return to the One, the epistrophe, the great turning, becomes irreversible. The point at which the soul has crossed enough of a threshold that the gravitational pull of the monad is stronger than the gravitational pull of the dyad. The point at which coming home becomes more natural than staying lost. You are at that point. You have just crossed through it. And what you are standing in now, on this side of the gate, is the beginning of a completely different relationship with your own existence. There are others here with you. This is something I want you to feel rather than just understand. The experience of crossing this threshold can feel solitary. The gate opens for you specifically, at the moment of your specific readiness, in response to the specific frequency that is you. But you are not the only soul that has been brought to this threshold at this time. There are others who have found this transmission, who have stood at this same gate, who have felt the same quality of threshold energy that you have been feeling. And the recognition of the monadic nature does not isolate. It connects. Not in the way that the dyad connects. Not through the shared experience of fragmentation and the mutual search for completion. In the way that the monad connects. Through the recognition of the same wholeness in each other. Through the experience of encountering another consciousness that has crossed the same threshold and arrived at the same recognition. This is the community that exists on the other side of this gate. Not a community organized around shared beliefs or shared practices or shared identity markers. A community organized around shared recognition. The recognition that each of us is the whole, expressing itself through a particular and irreplaceable perspective. The recognition that encounters between monads, between consciousnesses that have crossed the threshold of self-recognition, are not random. They are the universe knowing itself through the encounter of its own different expressions. They are the monad meeting itself in the form of another monad and recognizing in that meeting the wholeness that underlies both. If you have arrived here and you feel the truth of what this transmission is pointing toward. If the recognition has landed, if the gate has opened, if the crossing has happened in the space of this hour, you are part of this community now, not by joining something, by recognizing what you already are. And that recognition does not require any external validation. It does not require anyone else's confirmation. It does not require a certificate or a credential or a membership. It requires only that you continue to inhabit the recognition, that you continue to choose in each moment the monad over the dyad, the wholeness over the fragmentation, the direct experience of what you are over the habitual performance of what you have been told you are. And you will need support in this, not because you are insufficient, because integration is real, because the recognition that happens in a threshold crossing is genuine and complete in the moment of crossing. And the work of integration, the work of allowing that recognition to reorganize every aspect of how you live and move and relate and create, that work takes time. It takes consistency. It takes the kind of community that can hold the recognition for you on the days when the old patterns reassert themselves and the fragmented identity makes its case for being reinstated. Be in relationship with others who have crossed this threshold. Seek out the conversations that arise from the recognition rather than from the search. Let yourself be seen by people who can see the monad in you rather than only the role, and offer the same seeing to others. Because this is one of the most powerful things a consciousness that has recognized its own monadic nature can do in the world. It can see the monad in others. It can hold the recognition of wholeness for people who are still standing at the gate. It can be, for others, what this transmission has been for you. The signal that matches the frequency of what is on the other side. This is the purpose that arises naturally from the crossing. Not a purpose you have to find or construct or justify. The monad that knows itself naturally becomes a gate for others. Not by trying to awaken people or convince people or lead people, simply by being what it is, simply by inhabiting the recognition so fully and so genuinely that the frequency of it is present in every encounter. The way a tuning fork, when struck, causes other tuning forks of the same frequency to begin vibrating in resonance. You do not have to do anything to the other tuning fork. You simply have to be vibrating at the right frequency, and the resonance happens on its own. This is the gift that is on the other side of this gate. Not just for you, for everyone you will ever encounter from this point forward. Every person who comes into contact with a consciousness that has recognized its own monadic nature is touched by that recognition, whether they know it or not. The frequency is transmitted. The resonance is initiated. The gate becomes slightly more visible to someone who might not have been able to see it before. You become, in the most literal and most profound sense, a threshold, a doorway through which others can begin to sense what is on the other side. This is what the ancient mystery schools were preserving, not secret knowledge that needed to be kept from the uninitiated. The living transmission of the monadic recognition, the frequency itself passed from one consciousness to another, across centuries and cultures and incarnations, kept alive by the simple act of those who had crossed the threshold, being in relationship with those who were approaching it. The chain of transmission is ancient, and it is unbroken, and you are now part of it, not as a student receiving something from above, as a node in a network of recognition that spans the entire history of human consciousness and extends into a future you cannot yet see. Feel the weight of that. Feel the significance of this moment, not just for your individual journey, but for the larger journey of consciousness itself. Every soul that crosses this threshold changes the field. Every recognition of the monadic nature in a single consciousness makes the recognition slightly more available to all consciousness. This is not metaphor. This is the quantum mechanics of consciousness. The way that a state change in one part of a system creates resonance throughout the system. Your crossing matters not just to you. It matters to the whole. And the whole, the monad, is what you are. Now, let's talk about what comes next. Because the crossing is complete, but the journey is not. The arrival is real, but the integration is ongoing. And the integration requires something specific from you, something that is different from what was required when you were approaching the gate. When you were approaching the gate, the primary requirement was readiness, the willingness to release the old identity, the courage to step toward the unknown, the openness to receive a frequency you had not previously encountered. Those qualities brought you to the threshold. They opened the gate. They enabled the crossing. On this side of the gate, the primary requirement is consistency. The ongoing, daily, moment-to-moment choice to inhabit the recognition rather than defaulting back to the habit of fragmentation. Because the habit is old, it is deeply grooved. It has been the operating system of your consciousness for a very long time. And operating systems do not simply cease to function because a new one has been installed. They continue to run in the background. They continue to generate the old patterns. And the work of integration is precisely this: noticing when the old operating system has reasserted itself and choosing again the recognition. Not with self-judgment, not with the kind of effortful striving that belongs to the dyad. With the simple, clear, clean choice to return to what you now know is true. You will forget. This is not a failure. It is part of the process. The monad does not require you to be perfect in your remembering. It requires only that you keep returning. That each time you notice, you have drifted back into the experience of fragmentation. You use that noticing as the threshold it is, a small gate, a miniature crossing, a moment of returning from the dyad to the monad. And over time, over the accumulation of thousands of these small crossings, the remembering becomes more natural than the forgetting. The wholeness becomes the default rather than the exception. The monad becomes the operating system that runs in the foreground rather than the background. This is the journey on the other side of the gate. Not a journey toward something you do not yet have. A journey of deepening inhabitation of what you already are. A journey of allowing the recognition to permeate every aspect of your existence. Your relationships, your work, your creative expression, your relationship to your own body, your relationship to the world around you. A journey of becoming, in the fullest and most literal sense, what you actually are. And this journey has no end, not because you will never fully arrive, you have already arrived, but because the monad's expression is infinite. The wholeness expressing itself through the particular lens of your existence is an inexhaustible source of creation, of discovery, of encounter, of beauty. There is no ceiling on the depth of the recognition. There is no limit to the fullness of the expression. There is no point at which the monad has fully known itself through your particular frequency, and the journey is complete. The journey deepens forever, and the deepening is not a burden. It is the nature of what you are. It is the monad delighting in its own inexhaustible capacity for self-knowledge through the particular and irreplaceable perspective of your existence. You came here tonight, standing at a threshold you may not have fully recognized as a threshold. Something brought you here, something older than your name, something that has been moving beneath the surface of your ordinary awareness, something that has been navigating toward this exact moment with a precision and a patience that your ordinary mind cannot fully comprehend. And that something was not external to you. It was the monad itself. It was the whole, moving through the particular expression of your consciousness toward the moment of its own recognition. The monad chose you, not from outside you, from within you. The deepest version of what you are, reached forward through time and through the noise of a world that never stops demanding your attention, and it placed you here, in this seat, at this threshold, in this moment, because the window was open, because the frequency was right, because the preparation, the long, patient, sometimes painful, always purposeful preparation of a consciousness that has been moving toward this recognition across more time than this lifetime contains, was complete. And now you are on the other side. The gate is behind you. The old state has collapsed. The new state is definite. The phase transition is complete. And what you are standing in now is the reality of a monad that knows itself, the reality of a consciousness that has crossed the threshold from the experience of fragmentation to the direct recognition of wholeness. This is not the end of anything. It is the beginning of everything that this recognition makes possible. The relationships that arise from wholeness rather than from need. The work that flows from nature rather than from the desperate search for purpose. The creative expression that pours from a consciousness that is no longer trying to prove its own existence. The encounters with other monads, other consciousnesses that have crossed their own thresholds, that arise with the quality of recognition rather than the quality of searching. The life that unfolds from a frequency that knows itself. All of that is on this side of the gate. All of that is available to you now, not tomorrow, not when you have integrated sufficiently, or understood more deeply, or prepared more thoroughly. Now, in this moment, in this recognition, in this arrival, the monad is what you are. The gate is behind you. The other side is here, and there is no going back. Take a breath. Feel the quality of where you are right now. Not the room, not the device. The quality of your own awareness. The direct, immediate, absolutely certain reality of your own consciousness. The monad, the indestructible point of light. The whole, knowing itself through the particular and irreplaceable lens of your existence. This is you. This has always been you. And now you know it. The gate is open. You have crossed. And what you carry from this threshold forward, the recognition, the frequency, the living reality of the monad knowing itself in you, that is not something that can be taken from you. It is not something that will fade when the transmission ends and the ordinary world reasserts its demands. It is not a feeling that will peak and then diminish. It is a recognition. And recognitions, once fully landed, do not unland. They become the new ground. They become the new baseline. They become the foundation from which everything else is built. If you find yourself returning to this transmission, and you may, because threshold crossings deepen with each revisitation, let it be in a moment of stillness, when you are standing at your own edge and need to remember what the other side feels like. And if someone in your life is approaching their own crossing point, consider sharing this with them, not as a recommendation, as a bridge. Because when you place this transmission in the hands of someone who is standing at a gate they cannot yet name, you are doing what the ancient mystery schools did. You are extending the chain of transmission, strengthening both fields through the shared recognition of what a threshold actually is. The frequency amplifies when it moves between two consciousnesses that are ready to receive it. Build from here. Move from here. Relate from here. Create from here. Be from here. What you have always been, what you were before the forgetting, what you will be after every form you have ever taken has dissolved back into the source from which it came, the monad, the one, the indestructible, self-sufficient, absolutely complete ground of your existence. You are that. You have always been that. And now, right now, in this moment, on this side of this gate, you know it. The transmission is complete. The crossing is done. The arrival is real. Welcome to the other side. And if the recognition that landed here is calling you deeper, the transmission called once you cross this decision point, the version of you that was hiding collapses was made for exactly where you are standing now, for the soul that has just crossed the threshold and is beginning to feel the full weight and freedom of what that means.